looking at the website slack.com. And slack.com is a productivity and project management application made for individuals to have a shared workspace. The application is used by both large and small companies because of the way it's organized with an interface that's intuitive and easy to integrate with other third-party programs. Slack can be used for both internal collaboration as well as external collaboration with teams. For example, it's quite possible that a team may have temporary team members in need of a temporary workspace. And when this is the case, both analytics and task management are important for individuals to be able to see at every point in time. The workspace allows for shared files as well as shared communication. And the communication can be archived and or disposed of based on the need for the project. So in this course, we are going to look at the basic features of Slack so that you will be able to use it along with other individuals to plan, execute, and manage your projects. And it can also serve as client management throughout the process of delivering to individual clients. In the next video, look at the pricing in Slack. And so to do that, we're going to come to the front page, and all you'll need to do is to go to the pricing link. And what you're going to notice is that there is a free version. And during this course, we will be focusing on this version. Now, what you'll notice between the free and the paid version is that you only have a certain number of custom integrations in the free version. You'll also have a certain number of messages that you'll have available to you. The one thing that does work extremely well are the channel guests, and you'll notice that you can have a channel that has a single guest, and this can be extremely helpful if you want to have a certain person working on a single channel project inside of your Slack account. One of the other things you'll notice is that with the paid version, you can do voice and video calls inside of Slack up to 15 participants. Inside of the free version, you can only do a one-on-one call. In addition to that, in the paid version, you do have screen sharing capabilities. Now, obviously, you can do some of this if you already have a screen sharing technology and you're using an integration with Zapier or some other third-party platform available to you. Now, in the group file storage area, you can have up to 10 gigabytes per member if you have the paid version. Now, obviously, you will have connections to a shared space if you're using Google Drive or some other cloud-based service, but this can be helpful if you want to keep certain files inside of the shared workspace. So we're going to start the process by creating a workspace in the free version, although we will look at upgrading in a future video. What we're going to do now is we are going to open our account with Slack, and we're going to choose the free version, and we're going to click this button that says Create a Workspace. What we're going to do is we're going to start with an email address, and then we're going to go Next. We're then going to need to confirm by email. We're then going to get the email for our confirmation, and then we're going to need to give our company or team a name. Once we do that, we're then going to click Next. Now, Slack is going to ask you for a project that your team is working on. You're going to use that in order to create a shared workspace. Once you write that in, you're then going to click Next. Now, Slack is going to ask you for other individuals that are working on the project. Now, we are going to go through adding people to the project, but for now, we are going to go ahead and add a person that will be working on the project with us. Once we do that, we're then going to be ready to look at our channel. And once you're inside the account, you're going to see this message asking you to save your account, and you're going to add in a full name and then password. Once you've done that, then Slack will tell you that your workspace is all set. You then click the green button that'll say Explore Slack. And you are now ready to begin using your shared workspace on Slack. Now, you will have a profile that you'll need to keep track of. You'll be able to go into this left-hand corner. You're going to click this button. You're going to see this link that says Profile and Account. Once you do that, you're going to have this area that says Edit Your Profile. You're then going to be able to edit your profile. And what you'll be able to do here is you'll be able to have your display name as well as your full name. And you can write in any identifying information, including having your Skype contact listed. Now, one thing that you may want to do is to change your profile photo. You're just going to grab that from the hard drive. You're then going to click Save Profile Photo. Once you do that, you're then going to click Save Changes. Now you can operate from multiple workspaces. For example, someone can invite you to their project. And when you get this invitation, all you'll need to do is to click this Join Now button. And what you can do from your profile is that you can sign into another workspace. You're going to click that link. And then you'll be in the new workspace. And of course, what you can do then is you can switch back to your original workspace just from the menu item. Now you can operate Slack on both a mobile device as well as your desktop. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to go first to your profile, and then all you'll need to do is to click this link at the very bottom that says Open the Slack app. Now if you don't have the Slack app, this is where you're going to be able to get it. And typically Slack will take you there automatically. If you don't, you can click this link that says Download Slack for Desktop. And then the download will start automatically. Once you have it downloaded, you'll open it. Once you have the desktop app open, all you'll need to do is to then sign in. You'll then be asked for your workspace URL. You'll then click Continue, and then you'll just sign in. You'll then have the app running on your desktop, although it will be connected to your Slack account in the cloud. You'll also be able to download your mobile device. You'll also be able to download the app to your mobile device. In this case, we are looking at the iTunes App Store, although it will work similarly inside of the Android App Store. We're going to click the button Get. And we'll then download the application and install it. We'll then open the Slack application, and then we'll sign in. And you'll then have access to your Slack account through your mobile device. In this video, we are going to start customizing our workspace. And to do that, we're going to go to the profile area, and then we're going to click on this link that says Customize Slack. When we get there, you're going to be at the default screen for customizing your workspace. And the first thing you're going to be able to do is to add an alias. And then you can choose the emoji that represents that alias. Once you do that, you can then click Save. Basically then, whenever you get ready to type in this emoji, all you'll need to do is to type in the alias for that emoji. We can also add in a custom emoji. And to do that, we're going to click this green button. And basically, you're going to be able to upload an image that's going to represent some kind of emoji that you're going to give a name to. Now, you have a suggested size that's going to work best. That's a square image that's going to be under 128 kilobytes. Now, regardless of what size your image is, when you upload it, Slack will attempt to resize the image. Once you do that, you're going to give that emoji a name. Once you do that, you're then going to click Save. And basically what you can do is you can add as many custom emojis as you want. You can also rename as many emojis as you want using an alias. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work with our Slack bot. And the Slack bot is always going to be a custom response that the bot will give people when they actually write something in that you determine ahead of time. So what we're going to do first is we're going to write in the phrase that someone would say. We're then going to write in the standard Slack bot response. Once we have our response, we'll then click Save. And we can write in as many questions and responses that we want. So for example, if we want to add in a new response, we're going to write in the question or the statement that someone would say. And these responses are going to occur in any private or public area inside of our channels. So basically what we're doing is we're determining any frequently asked questions, and then we're going to give the standard answers so that your team can focus on the most pertinent conversation inside of Slack. And what we're going to do is stop the video right here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to complete the customization of our workspace. We're going to return to customizing our workspace, and this time what we're going to do is inside of the Customize Your Workspace, which you would arrive to from this link, we're going to come into this area for loading messages. And basically, you and your team, every time that Slack loads, you can have a message that'll custom play. Now, right now, by default, you have the Slack tips and tricks custom playing. You can turn those off. You can also have the messages from Slack, which are basically motivational kind of messages. You can have those turned off. What you can do then is you can add in your own custom message. Once you write that custom message in, you'll then click Add Message. And basically then you have a custom message that'll play when Slack loads. And you'll see that message playing as Slack loads when we go back to Slack in this screen. So you can use this as a reminder, and you can also use this as a way of communicating vital information to everyone in your workspace. What you can also do is you can create a workspace icon, and this is going to be a way to identify the specific workspace that people are going to be working in. So for example, we're just going to choose a file from our hard drive. Once we do that, we'll then click Upload Icon. You'll then want to click Crop Icon, and you'll basically see that icon every place where your workspace will be. You can also customize the statuses. And these are statuses that are in Slack by default. And again, you can make changes to these any way that you want. You can determine when they're going to clear Slack once people see them. What you can do is you can come inside of your profile. You're then going to click Set a Status. And then you can use either the custom status that we just created, or you can write in your own so that people will know how to interact with you. We're going to work with our settings and preferences. And to do that, we're going to go into the profile area. We're then going to click this link that says Preferences. That's going to bring us into this area. Now, because you're going to be working in a shared workspace and you're going to be working with individuals on a project, you may want to have notifications happen as things occur. Now, the default is to have your desktop notifications enabled. If you think that this is going to be too distracting, you can disable this so that you will not get these notifications. However, you can keep them enabled, and then you can also be notified about any threads you're going to be following. If you're admin, you're typically going to be in on all the threads anyway. You can also use different settings for your mobile devices, or you can keep those settings the exact same so that you can customize them on your mobile device. And typically, you're going to do this inside of this area. We can determine what kind of notifications we're going to be getting on our mobile device. Slack can also notify you when you have certain keywords that people use, and you can be notified when they use this keyword. For example, if you have a client name or you have some kind of process that is particular to the project you're working on, you want to be notified whenever someone uses that keyword inside of the workspace. You can do that. You can also have periods where Slack is not going to be turned on, and it won't be sending you notifications. Now, this is another way to keep your notifications turned on, yet only have notifications sent to you at a certain period of time. You can also determine the look and sound of those notifications, and it's quite possible that you don't want to have sound turned on. You can have all the sound from notifications turned off. You can choose as to whether you want to have notifications sent to your mobile device when you're not active on your desktop. Again, that's going to be a preference determined by how you choose to work while you're using Slack. What you can also do is you can also determine which particular projects or channels you're going to have notifications sent for, and you can determine the rules for that particular notification. So if we use our particular channel, what we can do is we can then determine how those notifications are going to be sent for that individual channel and whether they're going to be different from the default notifications. Now, that's the most important aspect of making sure that your settings are customized. We're going to stop the video right here, and we're going to come back and do the rest of the settings. We're going to take a look at the rest of the settings other than the notifications. Depending on where you are going to be able to have latitude over which language that you choose. Also, in the Messages and Media Center, you can determine the look and feel of how the messages are going to appear to you. You can also determine what will appear and how your sidebar is going to look. If you want to change the look, you can change the theme, and you can change what will actually appear there. Now, by default in your workspace, Slack will search all of your channels. When you're entering keywords into the search bar, you can exclude certain channels if that's what you want to do. You'll also have latitude over how you manage your read mail. And you can determine that if you want to read certain things but you don't want to mark it as something that is unread, you can change how that appears inside of your workspace. There are also input options, and for the most part, these are minute changes that you can make in terms of how you're going to be managing your interaction with your workspace, most of which you'll determine once you've used Slack for a little while. Once you've made all the changes to your settings that you want, you can then close out of the settings, and you'll be ready then to start with your Slack workspace. Now you can invite individuals to your projects, and once you're inside of a channel, which also serves as individual project, what you can do is you can click this invite people link, and then you're going to write in the email addresses and the names of the individuals. Now the most important part of this is that you're going to determine what default channels they're going to be part of. For example, when we invite these individuals, they're automatically going to be part of general and random chats as well as the one that we have designated. Now what we can also do is we can use this invite link and we can share it to the individuals that we want to join our group. And once we have all the individuals listed, we can then click send invitations. We'll then be able to see all of our pending invitations. And then as individuals start to accept your invitations, what you can do is you can then refresh your page. Then these individuals will then become accepted invitations. You'll then see them as individuals that you can interact with here with direct messages. Once you have all your individuals, what you can do then is you can come into your profile area. You can then come into administration. You're then going to manage members. What you're then going to click is user groups. And what you're going to notice is that if you want to organize groups within your team, that is going to be a paid feature. So if you want to continue to manage your team as one entire team, you can do that with the free version. However, if you want to organize groups within that team, you'll then need to add on one of the paid plans. Now, one of the main benefits of Slack is the integration with other third-party cloud-based applications. And there are two ways to integrate with Slack. One is with the internal pre-built integrations already within Slack, as well as those that connect through Zapier. Now in this video, we are going to look at those applications that are pre-built into Slack. And you can access them by clicking this link that says Apps. You'll then see this area where you can browse apps or you can view the app directory. We're going to click on View App Directory. And what you'll want to do in this area is you'll want to look for those applications that you are currently using so that you can discern which ones work with Slack. For example, you can see right here on the front page that Trello, which you may be familiar with, as well as Zoom, Microsoft OneDrive. We can also type in Get Response and then we can click Get Response. Now in some cases, you'll need to visit a specific site. In other cases, you'll be able to do it all within Slack. Now for Get Response, we need to visit the site in order to install the app. So we're going to click this button that says Visit Site to install. If you go to the integrations inside of Get Response, you'll see here that there is a link here for Slack. And what we can do here is we can click this link to connect to Slack. We're then going to click Connect Slack Team. We'll choose which individuals we want to receive messages, and then we'll click Connect. We can choose the channel, and then we can click Authorize. And then our Slack account is then integrated into our autoresponder using Get Response. Now, every integration is going to be different. And so what you'll want to do is you'll want to look for the applications you use and then determine whether they integrate with Slack. Welcome back. You're now looking at the third-party connector system, Zapier, which connects cloud-based applications. And you're looking at the Slack category so that we can determine which applications connect to Slack through Zapier. And you can scroll through those applications, and if you scroll down, you'll be able to look at a searchable database. We can write in the application that we want to use, and then we can click on that application. We'll then be able to see how Slack integrates with GoToWebinar. Now you can do this for any application that doesn't connect internally, but yet is one that you use and you want to connect it to Slack. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to click the Try It button. Now with Zapier, everything starts with a particular trigger. In this case, we're going to start with the GoToWebinar trigger. So when someone registers for a webinar on GoToWebinar, we're going to connect it to Slack. Now we're going to click Continue. We're then going to send the test. Once we determine that GoToWebinar connects, we're then going to click Save and Continue. Now again, it's important to note here that what you're watching is an example of one connection to Slack through Zapier of a cloud-based application. Every application is going to look different in terms of how it connects and which functions it connects. What you're doing in this case, you're walking through each step of a wizard, which is going to connect you to each of the cloud-based applications so that there's an automation that occurs called a zap. So once you've determined your cloud-based applications, again, that don't fit within the integration that Slack already has, you can use Zapier in order to connect them. Come back. Now, when you come into your Slack workspace, what you're going to notice is that you have channels that you've either been invited to or that you've created as an admin. So if we were to click on random, this is a separate channel. If you click on this level, this is also a separate channel. Currently, we have individuals that have been invited to this specific channel. By default, these individuals were already invited to our other channels, such as random and general. Now, what we can do is we can click add a channel. And we can click this button that says create channel. We can give this channel a name. And we can give a purpose for this specific channel. Now, when we create this channel, what we can do is we can send invites to specific individuals for this channel. What you're going to note about this channel is that currently anyone in our workspace can view and join this channel. What we can do is we can click this private button so that only the individuals that we invite are going to be part of this channel. And once we do that, we can click create channel. And so you'll notice the designation here in our menu that we have a private channel and that there are only certain individuals that are going to be part of this channel. So if you wanted to create a separate team and a separate workspace for that team and you wanted to keep their activity private, you could do that by creating a separate channel and only inviting the individuals that you want to participate in the work on that channel. Now, once we've created the channel, we can specify its settings. To do that, we're going to go to this gear at the top of the channel. We're going to click on top of the channel settings. You notice that from this menu, we can invite new members to join. We can view the channel details, which we have just set. We can also click on additional options. And what we can do is when the channel is inactive and we're not using it, we can click on this link to archive the channel. If we need to rename it for some reason, we can do that, and then we can reset the channel purpose. We can also specify how we want to be notified about the activity on this channel. For example, what we can do is we can use desktop notifications, or we can mute the entire channel. We can add specific applications to this particular channel. For example, we can add in Google Hangouts, Dropbox, or Google Drive if we want to connect storage. Now, if we want to have specific files that we're going to be sharing with the individuals in this channel, all we'll need to do is to open up that channel. What we'll need to do is to drag and drop the file into the message pane. You'll see then your file uploaded to your workspace as well as in your shared files area for future use. Come back. Now, when you are working within your channel, you can direct message the individuals within that channel. And to do that, what you do is you click on their name underneath this tag where it says direct messages, and then you're going to write in a message to that individual. That individual will then see your message in their area, and then they'll see your message. And of course, they'll be able to respond to you within your private window. And you'll see their message in your private area also. Now, because these are direct messages, these messages are private, and as the reminder states in Slack, there will be no one that will be able to join this conversation and then see the history. You can share files specifically within this conversation, and you'll be able to keep track of that conversation within your shared files. Now again, these shared files will not be visible in any of your other channels. If you want to note any particular item within your conversation, you can then take that item and you can pin it. And to do that, all we'll need to do is to come to these three dots. We'll then be able to click this link that says pin this to the conversation. We can then say yes, pin this message. And then the item will be within our paired items. So in addition to the shared activity within your channel, you can also have private conversations with individuals and then share files and discussion with specific individuals at specific times. You can make message posts into your shared area as well as into your private area. And you're always going to do it through this message pane. And what you're going to notice is that anything that you write in here, you're going to be able to determine how the text appears. What you'll see at the very bottom of the screen is we can place symbols around the word where we want there to be inflection in the text. For example, if we were to put asterisks around a certain word, that would indicate bold. And you can see the text here. What you can also do with a particular message is you can pin that message. If you want to highlight it and make sure that everyone sees it, what you do is you go to these three buttons and you click this pin to the channel. The item will then be pinned and you'll see it in your side menu. And just as you could in your private conversation, you can also upload a document to this channel. All you'll need to do is you'll need to drag that document into your message area. And so if we drag a document into that area and then we put in our message, once that document is uploaded, it'll then be part of our shared files. We can make sure that certain individuals are going to be tagged inside of our conversation. All we'll need to do is to use the @ sign. And you'll be able to see that inside of this area. Now within Slack, one of the ways that you have of communicating with other individuals within your project or your channel is that you can react to their individual posts. What you'll see here is you have some icons that give you some options. So for example, we can click this link that says add reaction. And then what we can do is we can add in an emoji in order to react to the post. We can also start another thread. And this thread will be based on this particular post. And when we start this thread, we can decide to send this to the entire group. And then we can click send. But basically what we've done is we've started a conversation about something specifically, and we've allowed the whole group to see it. We can also click this particular arrow. We can share this message. And we can search for another channel or another person. So for example, we can use another channel and we can add in a message. To do that, we can then click share. And as we did before, we can react to the individual message also by starring it. So in addition to replying within the thread, we also have ways of being able to keep our conversations organized about specifics inside of our channel. Now Slack does give you a way of being able to analyze the activity in your channels. And so what you do is you click on your profile and you can click this button that says Analytics. Now basically you'll be able to keep track of who is going to be active, who's active during the week, who's active during the day, and then you'll be able to determine where the conversations are happening inside of your area. And you'll be able to look at messages that are going to be sent as well as files uploaded. You can also break this down by channels, where you can look at specific details over specific periods of time for specific channels. You'll also, as admin, be able to look at specific information about your members inside of your groups, as well as your channels. Now, if you want to use this information in a report or some other kind of system, you can take it and you can download your CSV of all of this information. So if you want to determine whether the activity being generated by your team in collaboration is equal to the work that needs to be completed, you can look at what your analytics say in order to start having conversations. Now the search feature within Slack is going to be universal for all of your threads. So you'll see it here at the top, and when you write in your search term, what you're going to do is you're going to write in what you want to find. And in this case, we wrote in the words key points. And we actually have key points in both a conversation as well as one of the threads inside of one of the channels. And you'll notice that we have them both appearing inside of our search. If what we wanted to do was we wanted to filter this for a specific channel, we could. In other words, what we want to do is we want to narrow down our search. When we do that, you'll notice then that we have one search item, even though we have two documents in our entire workspace with the words key points. We can also filter for our direct messages. So for example, if we were to go to this section of the search and we were to write in an individual's name, we can narrow down our search into our direct messages, and you'll notice then that we have our direct message where we have the content that we are looking for. So search gives you the ability to look for specific keywords as well as specific document types. As you can see here, we've written in PDF, and all of the places where we have PDFs inside of our conversations, inside of our feed, inside of our channels will appear in this area. We can also sort for the individual files when we do that. In conclusion, when you have your project separated into specific channels, you may come to the point where you don't want to keep a channel on your active workspace. And you can take care of that by going to this gear where you see the channel settings. And what you're going to do then is you're going to go to your additional options. You're going to notice then that you can do a couple of things. One thing in particular that you can do is you can change this to archive for this channel. Now you'll note that no one will be able to send messages to it, the apps will be uninstalled, and then messages posted will then be archived. Now the good thing is that when you are searching, you will still be able to find messages in the archives. So you won't be able to lose track with the information. All you're basically doing is removing it from your active space and keeping your workspace current only with your current projects. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.